Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. In today's most important news, we will talk about the unfortunate family whose 15 members drowned in the Swat River. Not just drowned, but gradually drowned. While they were drowning, their trust in the state also drowned, and the dignity of the state also sank. For hours they stood in the turbulent waves of the river, waiting for the state to come to their aid. But neither the waves stopped, nor did the state arrive. Anyway, we will talk about this in detail. Along with that, we will discuss how the Supreme Court of Pakistan's military bench took away the reserved seats from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and handed them over to the regime. That was the last door which could be shut on PTI. Is everything over now, or is there a ray of hope in this? What should PTI do next? This is a very important topic, so listen carefully. I will explain in detail how PTI can still find a better path from this situation. In my opinion, today's decision is a good decision for PTI. First, let's talk about the situation in Swat. You know it's raining in the upper mountains. Because of this, the rivers swell suddenly. Rivers originating from mountainous areas rise abruptly and unpredictably. People living there, or even others, cannot predict this. The water level one moment can be at one level, and then suddenly rise in the next moment. Today, a similar incident happened in the Swat River with an unfortunate family of 15 members. Among them were elderly people, women, children and men. They were all enjoying the water when suddenly the water level rose sharply. It would have been better if they had left early, but the water rose so high that they had to stand and wait for hours. During that wait, they hoped either the water would go down or a rescue would come to help them. We have a video before you where you can see a small hill or mound. Obviously they had moved there first, since there are many such hills or elevated spots where water level first drops and then rises again. When the water level rose, they took shelter at the highest spot they could find. You can see these 15 people, including small children, standing there waiting to be rescued. Hours passed, the waves grew stronger and the mound started to slip away. The space to stand became smaller. The water's current was so strong that several people were swept away from their grasp. Parents lifted their children onto their shoulders to save them. Women were also swept away. As I said, men are powerless against the force of the water. Those standing on slippery rocks lost their footing and were swept away into the river. Despite hours of waiting, no rescue came. Eventually, all 15 were swept away by the water. 2 or 3 may have been rescued alive, but the rest became martyrs. Some bodies have been recovered, some are still missing. The 2 children whose parents were drowning themselves trying to save them were lifted on their shoulders with their nose and mouth kept above water, hoping they would survive. Their bodies have not yet been found. Muharram has started, and this innocent sacrifice by this family brings great shame to our entire state, especially the provincial government and, most importantly, Chaudhry Nizamuddin, who controls this entire system. The DGISPR claimed that the army is the only force in the world that helps in floods. While we did mention 37 such forces worldwide doing similar humanitarian work for their nations, Pakistan's army also does commendable work, and we appreciate that. Today, the wait was for the military helicopter or ship to arrive for rescue. The ship alone could not have done much, but if a helicopter had come from that ship, it could have saved lives. However, the ship is mostly used for transporting Mariam Nawaz from Turkey to Switzerland for surgery, and then to the UK, circling back and forth. Pakistan Air Force's helicopters are deployed for the elite, but none came to help these poor people. You might have heard the sound of a helicopter drying cricket pitches in stadiums, but the same kind of helicopter was awaited here to help. Pakistan's military installations are known, but no helicopter came. No major rescue effort was launched. The families had to fend for themselves. Of the 15, maybe 2 or 3 were saved, and the rest lost their lives. This is a major tragedy, and it brings immense grief. The nation now wonders who to hold responsible for their blood. Resources are controlled by Chaudhry Nizamuddin, and now the governments are also under his control. Yet in such situations they are unwilling to take responsibility, saying it is the local government's or provincial government's duty. It cannot be said they had no responsibility. The administration should have informed people about the dangers. There was negligence. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's chief minister's helicopter is probably not trained or equipped for such rescues. However, since people were trapped for hours, The Chief Minister's helicopter should have at least hovered above to assist. There should have been desperate rescue efforts. Unfortunately, the entire state's focus is elsewhere. We claim to be number one, but recall that in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, there was a cable car between two mountains that broke, trapping people. Pakistan military tried to help but couldn't succeed. Local volunteers rescued them and were later hailed as heroes, though they did not get the appreciation they deserved. Even today, there is a lack of equipment. Otherwise, local people would have tried to save those drowning. As I said, helicopters are available for the elite, but none for these poor families. No one helped preserve the bodies of those children so that they wouldn't fall into the water. This is a day of misfortune. Most responsibility lies with Chaudhry Nizamuddin, who controls the system. If anyone else is responsible, it's the local and provincial governments. It is a tragic day, but this will not end here. Now from somewhere in Punjab, perhaps Daska, a family drowned. In Punjab and our areas, people generally don't know how to swim. Women especially do not. Men also rarely know swimming. So when we see others doing water sports or adventures, we forget that we are neither trained nor equipped for such activities. I have repeatedly told you to be cautious while driving in such areas and to think 10 times before doing such adventures. This is a small glimpse. We have videos, maybe from an unknown place, but circulated on social media, showing a father taking 2 children into the middle of a river. If the water remains calm, that's fine. But if there is a storm, who will save them? Enjoying the beauty of a river or sea doesn't always mean being inside it. You can enjoy it from the shore as well. Some things are frightening up close, but beautiful from afar. So to all those coming from Punjab, Sindh or other places, my humble request is to take care of yourself and make safety arrangements because the state is busy elsewhere. Now, coming to the state's political situation, today in Pakistan's Supreme Court, a military bench was formed. You might think I mean the military bench, but no. This is a military bench which is also called the Constitutional Bench, where decisions are made to strengthen the Field Marshal Sahib. You might remember when Qazi Faiz Isa had ruled against PTI, after which PTI was barred from contesting elections and a case for reserved seats went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court decided, with 11 out of 13 judges agreeing that these seats belong to PTI. But obviously this did not fit Chaudhry Sahib's larger plan. So the Supreme Court was twisted, new judges were brought in, and the 26th Amendment was made, changing the whole system. Today, Pakistan witnessed a unique event in its history, where 10 judges sat and overturned a decision made by 13 judges. Yes, you heard it right. 10 judges ended the decision of 13 judges. This probably never happened in the world before. The decision made by 13 judges should be heard by at least 13 judges, but today 10 judges ended the verdict of 13 judges. PTI was stripped of its reserved seats, which were then given to other parties by the Supreme Court. The court overturned its own previous decision and declared that reserved seats would now go to the PMLN, PPP and JUI. 24 women and 3 minority members of the Punjab Assembly were restored, as were 21 women and 4 minority members of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly, 2 women and 1 minority member of the Sindh Assembly, and several seats in the National Assembly were given back to the regime. This is, well, a very interesting situation. What happens next, I will tell you now, because Hafiz Sahib has other plans and is moving towards the 27th Amendment. We will discuss why and how after explaining today's court event. Today's constitutional bench was headed by Justice Haji Aminuddin, who has just returned from Hajj, and Justice Musrat Halali, Madam Halali, not Mrs. Halali as she dislikes the title. Justice Naeem Akhtar, Justice Shahid Bilal from Afghanistan, Justice Hashim Kakad, Justice Amir Farouk and Justice Ali Bakir Najvi. The 7 judges have approved the government and election commission's monitoring petitions against PTI's special seats decision. Now, microphones are muted in Parliament. You know that there, Tehreek-e-Insaf cannot freely express itself. Even in the Supreme Court, voices were silenced today. Whenever Imran Khan's name was mentioned by Had Khan, the microphone was cut off. Justice is closed in courts, protests are banned on the streets, the people's voices are silenced, and there is no breath left in the sea of discussion. So everything is closed. Only dreams, desires and running horses are open. Hafiz Sahib is running them towards whichever direction his heart desires, gathering as much strength as his heart wishes. Today's decision by the appellate bench proved that the law is truly blind. How? In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 3 MNAs from the Noon League will now get 5 special seats in the Provincial Assembly. Two MNAs from GYF will get 3 seats. The most interesting work is that of the Pakistan People's Party. They have only one MNA from KP, yet they will get 2 special seats. Isn't that a powerful move? KP's assembly has 145 members. The opposition has only 22 seats. Now, these 22 seats will get 30 special seats free, so 22 plus 30 makes 52. That's today's decision by the appellate bench. Justice Muhammad Ali Mazhar Hassan Rivi gave a dissenting verdict. He said that while monitoring the decision, he is withdrawing his previous judgment, that is, withdrawing special seats from Tehreek-e-Insaf. Remember, Muhammad Ali Mazhar and Justice Hassan Rivi were the 2 judges who had initially given the verdict to give seats to Tehreek-e-Insaf. These 2 judges were left in the bench while others were replaced. They are still in the Supreme Court and should have heard the case under the law, but they were removed from the bench and replaced with new appellate judges after the 26th Amendment, who neither heard this case previously nor asked any questions. Today, Kakad Sahib only raised objections to Qazi Fazi Sahib, and no other significant questions were asked by him or other judges. Anyway, the verdict was made. Now, there are Senate elections in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and according to these new seats, 4 extra senators will be elected and brought in, and with a 2/3 majority in the Senate, it will be completely controlled. Even Fazl-ur-Rahman Sahib will no longer be needed, and PTI will be cornered further. A 2/3 majority will be established in the Senate. Now, you might be wondering what Hafiz Sahib plans to do next, and what Tehreek-e-Insaf should do. Let me explain. I feel the plan ahead is to convict the remaining PTI MNAs in different cases, disqualify them, and get the Noon League members elected in their places. This will separate the People's Party from the government and make Bilawal Zardari the opposition leader. By disqualifying PTI members, the seats will be won by Noon League members, increasing their numbers because currently the government is formed with People's Party members. Once the PPP members are removed, the government cannot be sustained. So disqualify PTI members and bring in Noon League members so they can form the government themselves without needing PPP's help. PPP will be removed and Bilawal Zardari made opposition leader. After that, the election chiefs, election commissioners and members of the election commission, as well as supervisors for upcoming elections, will all be appointed at will. NAB and other institutions will also have their own people because both the opposition leader and the judiciary will be in their pocket. Hafiz Sahib has set his game completely now. He has gathered all his power inside him. Now the last part I promised, what should Tehreek-e-Insaf do? Look, Tehreek-e-Insaf has tried everything, being good, fighting cases in courts, appearing before these benches. But the result is 0. People didn't vote for Tehreek-e-Insaf on February 8th to form a government or for governance or to pass the budget in KP early. People voted, for one thing, to free Imran Khan from jail. Have we succeeded? No. Now that Hafiz Sahib has snatched all these seats and closed all doors for Tehreek-e-Insaf, I don't think this is bad for them. You might ask, how is this not bad? If these seats had been given today, Imran Khan would still be in jail. The decisions are still in courts under their control. But the system would have gotten some legitimacy. The Supreme Court of Pakistan would have gotten some legitimacy. People would have thought it was a legitimate Supreme Court, still making justice-based decisions. What DG ISPR said that the army has no involvement in politics was not entirely correct. 1 or 2 words would need correction. But today, after all this, Hafiz Sahib is like a wrestler or weightlifter on steroids, building muscles ready to burst. Such a system on steroids can only have a heart attack. Hafiz Sahib has reached a level where it is time to fall from his own weight. He has gathered everything, nothing is left. What little prestige the Supreme Court had, today it's gone. Even voices in the media that were once doubtful are now speaking out. Look at Shahzeb Khanzada on Geo criticizing the system. Nobody in Pakistan is left to defend or speak for it. The system is completely exposed and naked. So what should Tehreek-e-Insaf do? I know many will disagree. I'm not saying this is the only wisdom or the right thing to do, but in my opinion, Imran Khan should decide that Tehreek-e-Insaf's MNAs and MPs resign from all assemblies. Yes, I will explain why later. Along with this, Tehreek-e-Insaf should write to all courts saying they have no trust in this system and will no longer contest these cases. These are Hafiz Sahib's courts now, let them decide. They should withdraw their representation and say that the decisions will be made anyway. They don't trust the system and don't want to defend themselves anymore because there is no law or justice. You may ask, what will resigning achieve? If you don't resign, what will happen? Wherever the government is, wherever Shahbaz Gill is sitting as MPA or MLA, What advantage does that give Imran Khan? Whether Punjab, Federal or KP, tell me what benefit does Imran Khan get? None. The person sitting in opposition or government may get some minor benefits for himself, but none for Imran Khan. Hafiz Sahib now has to consolidate the situation further. Federally, as I said, by disqualifying people and winning those seats for Noon League, these seats will be wiped out. And in KP, you've already seen the budget passed early, despite Imran Khan's opposition. There is no benefit in fighting this system anymore because nothing will come out of it. I repeat, Shahbaz Gill may benefit as an MPA, MLA or senator, but Imran Khan does not benefit from this because the system is rigged against him. If I could send a message to Imran Khan, I would tell him to resign from every assembly seat, including KP, and come out. If God wills and the people stand with him, then through struggle he will have to come back. You might ask, what kind of struggle? The oppression on the people cannot be removed right now. It will take 3 months, 6 months or a year. Situations are not always like this. No one who surfs on ocean waves can stay on top forever. Hafiz Sahib has lifted more weight than he can bear, and he will have to fall under his own weight. In my considered opinion, if Tehreek-e-Insaf remains in this system, I think they won't get anything. I keep repeating it's my personal opinion. The system benefits individual members like Shahbaz Gill, who have seats or committees, but harms Imran Khan and the party's objectives. Those who have stakes and posts in the system won't want to lose anything, even small benefits. But Imran Khan is in jail, and his rights are being taken away more each day. Those outside have become prisoners of small islands of happiness, small hopes, and small desires. Imran Khan must take a bold stance and free everyone like himself, bring everyone back to the streets, including me, so people can struggle again. People who have tasted power and leadership won't give it up easily. If Imran Khan remains in this system, I don't see any improvement in his or the party's situation. Finally, I repeat, today's decision is a good decision for Tehreek-e-Insaf. If the seats had been given legally, it would have been justified, but if the Supreme Court gave them, the court's credibility and Hafiz Sahib's illusion of power would have remained. Now everyone knows the Supreme Court's credibility and power have died. Even opponents say this. Hafiz Sahib had a little bit of restraint left, but now he seems to want to go further. All legitimacy and credibility are lost. Now Imran Khan must decide whether to keep his people happy with small treats or tell them to throw those treats away and unite to protest and fight again. Until that happens, I don't see any improvement for Imran Khan or the party. Some may argue that remaining inside Parliament is better because you get some place and opportunities, but this system is rigged. Those wanting to do something for Imran Khan are stuck, and many can't or won't do anything, so the best thing is for Imran Khan to quit the system fully. Then only the people will be left to fight. If Allah wills, the Field Marshal's wrath will be met, and Allah's justice will prevail. You cannot run forever on steroids. Now it's time for a heart attack. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.